Hello everyone, Dragon Critic aka Leo O'Brien, and today I'm going to be seeing Jurassic World 3 Dominion. Yes, I don't understand why they're calling it Dominion. I honestly think Dominion is such a lame name for a movie. They really should have just called it Jurassic World 3. Then again, since Jurassic World 2 was called Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, I guess they have to follow the tradition. So as for my thoughts on the other movies, I rewatched every single one to prepare for this film. Jurassic Park 1 is a great movie, and I now give it a 9 out of 10. Jurassic Park 2 is one of the worst sequels I've ever seen in my life. 1 out of 10. Jurassic Park 3 is messy, cringy, cheesy, so stupid, and so messy to the point where it's just hilarious. It's not a very good movie, but I at least get a good laugh out of it. 6 out of 10. And of course, Alan. Jurassic World 1 is a really good movie. It used to be my favourite in the franchise, but now it's at second place beneath the original. I think Jurassic World 1 is a great film, such a fun film. Jurassic World 2 Fallen Kingdom, really underwhelming. I know in my review I said I enjoyed the film, and then I thought about it, I found it underwhelming. After watching the movie again to prepare for Dominion, I honestly found it worse than I remembered. I just think Fallen Kingdom was boring. I really don't like. I'm sorry, I just don't like it. I really don't like it. I actually think it's a mediocre mess. The first act is good, but the rest of the movie is so boring. I didn't like it. I honestly found it to be a disappointment. Jurassic World 3, however, seems to be very divisive so far, and I would honestly be pretty shocked if it's as bad as Jurassic World 2. But I'm hoping for the best. I'm going in open-minded, I'm seeing the movie with my good friend Tig, and let's go on with the next clip.
I'll wait in the arcade, yeah?
Alright.
We're all watching the Minions together. Isn't that not when the cadets start there? Yeah, well, when you got them
Let's hope this is an improvement over Fallen Kingdom. Jurassic World 3 Dominion was released in 2022 and was directed by Colin Trevorrow. It tells the story taking place 4 years after Fallen Kingdom, where humans and dinosaurs have now been coexisting, but along the line problems start to happen and Owen and the gang call for help from the original Jurassic Park crew, led by Alan. So I just got back from seeing the movie, and I thought it was decent. I thought Jurassic World 3 was a decent enough film. Yeah, it was a good enough conclusion to the Jurassic Park and World franchise. The story was really messy. My god, the story was so lackluster. It was really lacking and felt all over the place. It feels like the story was split in two halves. You had the first half of the plot and the other half of the plot, and they all try to intersect in the third act. And while they intersect fine enough in the third act, it doesn't feel like it's enough. I honestly think the movie had false advertising, and that is a really bad sign. So the story was very lacking, and the direction was quite weak. The action scenes were good, we'll get to them in a minute, but the storyline wasn't great. It wasn't very good. The story was a bit of a mess. My friend was so bored. He actually was so bored, and I actually thought he nearly fell asleep, and it's a film he said that he'd never watch again. The action scenes, however, were phenomenal. The motorbike chase in Malta, oh my god, amazing. The CGI, special effects, fantastic stuff. Oh yeah, and this movie also reveals that Richard Parker travelled the multiverse and became Lewis Parker. And his performance was awful. And his character was awful. I don't want to talk about him too much just to avoid spoilers, but my god, he was terrible. Every other actor did a pretty good job in their performance. The characters themselves were not great. Owen and Claire still have a pretty strong dynamic and they're still pretty solid characters, but they're just the exact same as they were in the first two movies. Maisie, however, is such a bland character and her arc in the film was absolutely stupid. It was very nice to see Alan, Ian and Ellie again, and they had a pretty good arc throughout the movie. The two new supporting characters, Kayla and Ramsey, were pretty good too, and they're very likeable. Every other character though, especially the villains, were just awful. My god, it's shocking with how bad the villains were in this movie. They were just terrible. So apart from the really lackluster villains and Maisie being such a bland character, the other characters were just good. So the movie had a very mixed bag of characters. The music was pretty good. Granted, it is the same music as the other movies, but the music was pretty solid. So yeah, I think Jurassic World 3 Dominion is a decent movie, but it's not great. And I think that's a shame because it had a lot of potential, but it is a big improvement over Fallen Kingdom. I will take this over Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom any day of the week. I would put it's at the 3rd place in the ranking, but it wasn't great. And I think it's sadly a shame that this film wasn't as good as it could have been. Overall, Jurassic World 3 is good but not great. It suffers from a very lackluster story and a mixed bag of characters, but it does have great action. It's a good enough movie, but not as good as it could have been. I'm going to give Jurassic World 3 Dominion a 7 out of 10. As for my ranking of the movies, it would be number 6, Jurassic Park 2, number 5, Jurassic World 2 Fallen Kingdom, number 4, Jurassic Park 3, number 3, Jurassic World 3, number 2, Jurassic World 1, and number 1 at the top, Jurassic Park 1. So that's my review for Jurassic World 3 Dominion. Stay tuned for my next review. So until then, everyone, take care, guys. Thank you for watching. What do you think of Jurassic World 3 Dominion? Are you going to see it? Did you find it a disappointment or did you love it? Stay tuned for my next video. Until then, skadoosh.